There are a lot of studies that show creativity is unlearned as we get older. So I feel it's so important, no matter what subject you teach, to find ways to keep creativity a part of our students' education. One of the activities I like doing is a drawing activity, where I give students a line or a shape and ask them to complete the drawing. There is no right or wrong answer, and it allows them to just create. I like to do this as a brain break during class, or even to start class so we can begin with our creative hats on. It's also important to share their work after, because I feel this is an important part of the process because they can learn from each other. They see other creative ideas they maybe didn't think about, which helps them continue to grow their own imagination. Everyone has the potential to be creative and innovative, and we need to make sure as educators we continue to give our students opportunities to learn and grow creatively. There are times I will even give them a drawing like this and ask them to fill in the face and write a quote to match their facial expression. Some students will even take this to another level and add additional drawings outside of this by maybe showing the student or the person pushing something away or chasing after them. It again allows them to be creative. Sometimes I will just give them the speech bubble. This can be to start or even end a class, to ask how they felt about yesterday's lesson, or to share something they learned today during class. It can also be just to talk about a topic in current events to see how students are feeling. It gives them a creative way of sharing their thoughts. I read an article that included an activity based on Tim Brown's TED Talk of creativity in play. It was an exercise created by Bob McKim of the Stanford Design Program, in which you give students 30 circle exercise, which focuses on quantity and not quality. Students focus on filling in as many circles as possible in a short amount of time. When making art, we're extremely quick to unleash our inner critic. The idea with this activity is to focus on quantity to prevent yourself from censoring and trying to perfect an idea that is not adequate. You can see from this example, two different students, one focused on drawing and got halfway through the circles, while the other focused on a clock type theme and was able to get through all 30. There are a variety of options you can do these drawing activities with your students. I like using Nearpod, so the remainder of this video is going to show you how to use the Nearpod Draw It feature. I like to be able to add these, like I said earlier, just within my lesson plans, so using Nearpod allows me to do that. So this is what the teacher side looks like. I'm going to minimize this screen. So this is teacher on the left and student on the right. So you can see at the bottom they have their tools that they can use. So you'd want to show the kids how they can click on the pencil, they can change the size, and they can change the color. There is a paintbrush, there's text they can add, an eraser, they can even add additional images from the internet for this. So I'm going to keep this one because this activity was about quantity. So I'm just going to keep it as black and thin because we're wanting them to complete as many within a minute. You also have the ability within Draw It to set a timer so the students know they only have 1 minute to complete this activity. As students draw on their Draw It slide, you will start to see it appear over on the teacher side. So you can see, even though they haven't submitted, I start to see their work here. So that allows you, when you're full screen, to see all of your students' work while it is in progress. So now to do these Draw It activities, you have several different options. I'm going to show the Google Slides option. So you might already have your Google Slide lesson already done. You'll come to the add-ons and go to Nearpod, open up your Nearpod, then over here to the right, look for the Draw It option. Here's where you can then click to upload a background image. Notice you also can explore the Draw It library within Nearpod, so just keep that in mind for other Draw It activities. But I'm going to show how I have created some of my own. So I click on my Google Drive, and then I'm going to search. I've actually called mine Zero Draw It. You can see they just show up right here. So you just select one, and then click on Select, This will be your drawing. You can type instructions. If you lost that instructions window, over here to the left is the blue drop down. And then you can type your instructions in here. Right up here is where you would add that timer. So if you do want students to only have a certain amount of time, you can add that right within the Draw It activity. Then click Save, and now that activity is ready. Now, how I got my different Draw It activities for these ones that I use is I actually create a Google slideshow. I call it Draw It Activity, similar to what you're seeing here. And I will just start to create a bunch of slides with random lines or drawings on them. You can see I've used this gift before. I've used like a snow globe. If you're a music teacher, you can use the music paper for them to draw on. So I'll create slides, whatever I want them to be for the background. And then I go to File, Download, and I choose the JPEG option. So you can actually create a bunch of Draw It activities ahead of time and then store them in a folder on your Google Drive called Draw It Activities. And then they're all in here ready for you whenever you want to add them to a Nearpod. Keep in mind though, like if you look at something like the music paper one, you don't have to necessarily create a slide for this. You could, right within your Nearpod, when I go to add a Draw It activity, I can search here. Instead of uploading something from my computer or my Google Drive, I can even search the internet for music paper. Save it, and then that becomes the background for your students to draw on. So definitely check out the Draw It activity within Nearpod to add some creativity to your lessons.